Inside the SpaceX launch site, Starbase. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel Tech Region. Elon Musk is one of the richest people. He owns various firms to his name, and when it is about his SpaceX launch site, everyone gets excited to explore. So, without further ado, let's begin with this video to know all. Elon Musk's ambition of establishing a multi-planetary civilization is becoming reality. SpaceX's first operational spaceport, which is presently taking development at breakneck speed inside the boundaries of South Texas, lies at the heart of his creativity and vision. First and foremost, it's worth considering why Musk picked Texas as his center of operations in the first place. After all, SpaceX will continue to operate in California, home to some of the world's most brilliant brains in technology and engineering. Any other apparent place would be Florida, which has a long history in the aircraft industry. Musk is promoting his new Boca Chica online site in South Texas, close across the border from Mexico, for various reasons. It can travel more quickly than in a bigger, more contested regulatory environment, such as California. The Florida Kennedy Space Center and Cape Canaveral Space Force stations have an extreme hardware oversupply at its roots. They are, however, solid federal hubs that need a lot of red tape for private businesses. Simply, Musk has a lot more leeway in Texas than he does in California. The Texas government made considerable efforts to promote SpaceX for the kingdom, relaxing onerous noise regulations and permitting temporary closures of the kingdom's beaches to assist SpaceX's ambitious inspection plan. In September of 2014, the condo in Boca Chica was destroyed. 7 years later, the online publishing website looks fantastic from a few miles away at the Starship production plant. And, for the time being, all of these massive cranes are being leased to regular startups for tens of thousands of dollars per day. Musk may rent a larger crane by calling and ordering one over the phone. He returns a crane to the rental firm when it is no longer usable. That makes him quicker, and Musk's major focus is pace. The complex launch of Boca Chica may be split into magnificent zones. All spacecraft prototypes have been tested to date on the online suborbital publishing website. Some have a higher level of explosivity than others. Pad A and Pad B, two suborbital release pads, are fed by a small tank farm. That half is already overshadowed by the amazing far larger Stage 0 after serving SpaceX as well as it does now. It's just as challenging as pushing or delivering. It's also a rather sophisticated piece of equipment. Not to mention, it is the 400-foot-tall Orbital Release Integration Tower, or ORIT, which dominates the skyline. The lab philosophy of SpaceX may be summarized as build, fly, fail, redesign, fly. When something goes wrong with one of the rockets, the company swaps it and builds a new one. With a structure, the scale of this tower is no longer an option. Apart from its fantastic peak, it also has several interesting mechanical devices, earning its builder's nickname, Mechazilla. First, grab the QD or short disconnect arm. The retractable QD is intended to pump propellants, liquid methane and liquid oxygen, into the Super Heavy booster missile when docking and perhaps steady the ship. There will be more on this later. The QD does not have any of the so-called chopstick palms, which are still fixed on the ground. Musk's inventiveness and insight in building a multi-planetary civilization are predicated on the ability to reuse missiles. Much like today, jet aircraft swiftly can make many trips in a day without worrying. In addition, the completely stacked spaceship, the most significant flying object of all time, requires a precise and reliable landing process. A pair of enormous toothpick-shaped palm trees may be put on top of the massive delivery tower to avoid this. Depending on the question, these will grab the falling propellant and launch it from the air using pins attached to the missile's body or hanging from the shipment's reinforced mesh fins. Once the spaceship has been grabbed using the palms of one's hands, it may be moved from one side to the other using armored stairs. The vehicle can be best dumped on a booster or release desk using this method. The pitching table is supported by 6 massive metal supports sunk deep in Texas dirt. It is 370 tons in weight and took a year to erect. Because the completely weighted pile will weigh 5,000 tons when finished, you'll want to be tough. This workstation also features a noise-canceling deluge mechanism that utilizes tap water. A neighboring tank park provides the water for this flooding system, constructed regularly in recent months. This orbiting tank park, dedicated to GSE, is the world's largest of its type. It comprises 6 huge boxes with a height of up to 100 feet, which may sound familiar to longtime SpaceX watchers. This is because they employ the same 4 mm thick metal cylinders as the missiles. Musk's attitude is like, how can we do this cheaply? Using today's components, Musk also doesn't need the creation of costly new tooling systems. As you discover that Musk's rocket fuel can't be kept in 4 mm metal tanks, you probably think if you're clever about these things. And you'd be correct. The cryogenic rocket's gas, kept in 7 of the 8 tanks, might grow uncomfortably hot, even though the opposite tank holds water for the deluge above the system. As a result, the engineers built a shell over the tanks, sometimes known as a cryogenic shell, and filled the space between the tank and the body with an insulating gas. Tanks may now be used to store liquid oxygen or liquid methane for days or weeks at a time. That's all. Stay tuned for more.